In a small, serene village surrounded by rolling green hills and towering trees, there lived a humble farmer named Raghunath. His life was simple, yet he was content. Every day, he woke up before dawn, kissed his sleeping wife Mira, and quietly tiptoed past his young son Arav, who always had a smile even before sunrise. Raghunath worked tirelessly in the fields, tending to his vegetables, grains, and a few chickens that clucked softly in the morning light. Though he owned very little, he never complained. A simple meal of rice, lentils, and fresh vegetables was enough to bring him joy. He treasured his small family more than any material wealth, believing that happiness was in the warmth of a loving home rather than the shine of gold. One afternoon, while digging near an ancient, gnarled tree to plant new seeds, Raghunath's shovel struck something hard. Curious, he scraped away the soil. Bit by bit, the earth gave way to reveal a small, iron box, worn by time, but strangely heavy. His hands trembled as he pried it open. Inside lay dozens of glittering gold coins, shining like tiny suns. Raghunath's eyes widened, his heartbeat quickened. He had never seen so much wealth in all his life. Carefully, he closed the box and carried it home. That evening, by the flickering light of an oil lamp, he showed it to Mira. Her eyes widened, but not with joy. There was fear there. "Raghunath," she whispered, her voice trembling. "This gold, it is not ours. We don't know whose it is. What if it brings danger? What if it is cursed?" But Raghunath, now intoxicated by the glittering coins, shook his head. "No, Mira, this is a blessing. We've worked so hard and struggled so much. Now we can live comfortably. No more hunger, no more worry." In the days that followed, everything changed. Raghunath stopped tending the fields. Instead, he bought fine clothes, filled his home with lavish furniture, and indulged in luxuries he had only dreamed of. The villagers noticed the sudden change. They whispered among themselves, curious about Raghunath's newfound wealth. He would smile politely when asked, saying, "It is luck. God has blessed me." But the glow of the gold cast a shadow over his home. Mira became quiet and withdrawn, missing the old days when their home, though simple, was full of laughter and love. Arav, too, felt the change. His father no longer told bedtime stories, played games, or laughed with him. Instead, he spent hours counting coins, worrying about losing any, and dreaming of ways to gain more. One rainy evening, a frail old man arrived at Raghunath's door. His clothes were torn, his body shivering, and he asked for a simple piece of bread. Raghunath, now filled with pride and selfishness, scowled. "Go away," he barked. "I am not running a charity here." The old man looked into his eyes, not with anger, but with quiet sadness. "Be careful, young man," he said softly. "Greed never ends well. It takes more than it gives." Raghunath slammed the door shut, but the old man's words echoed in his mind. That night, he lay awake in his luxurious bed, the coins piled beside him, their golden sheen unable to calm the unease in his heart. He tossed and turned, hearing the old man's warning, but his desire for more gold drowned out the fear. The very next day, he returned to the ancient tree, hoping to uncover more treasure. He dug for hours, but found nothing but dry soil and stubborn roots. Days turned into weeks, and slowly, the gold he had spent so freely began to vanish. Friends he had trusted betrayed him. Villagers who had once admired him now avoided him. The luxuries he had bought became empty reminders of lost happiness. Mira fell ill, her body weakened by worry and heartbreak. Raghunath tried to buy remedies, but without money, even simple medicines were out of reach. Little Arav cried nightly, unable to understand why the laughter and warmth of their home had disappeared. One stormy evening, drenched by the rain, Raghunath returned to the ancient tree. Sitting under its wide branches, he stared at the dark clouds above and wept. "I was a fool," he whispered, his voice breaking. "I had everything that mattered: love, family, peace, and I threw it all away for gold." The tree swayed gently in the wind, as if nodding in understanding. Its leaves whispered a soothing song, comforting him silently. From that day forward, Raghunath changed. He returned to the fields, working harder than ever, not for gold, but for the love of his family. He cared for Mira with unwavering devotion and played with Arav as he once had. Slowly, the villagers' respect returned, not for wealth, but for his honesty, diligence, and the kindness he showed to everyone. Years passed. Raghunath never became rich again, but he discovered something far more valuable: contentment, peace, and love. Sitting with a Rav, now a young man with wisdom beyond his years, he would say, "Son, wealth can buy many things, but it can never replace love, health, or family. Never let greed steal your happiness. True riches are found in the heart, not in gold." And so, Raghunath's story became a cherished lesson in the village, passed from one generation to the next. A story reminding all who heard it that greed may promise the world, but it takes away what truly matters. Happiness, love, and gratitude are the treasures that last a lifetime.